Hello and welcome to day 4 of the British Swimming Championships here in Glasgow. The action this week has been fierce. The athletes keeping us entertained, but I tell you what, the fun isn't finished yet. This is Deep End Live. Good evening and welcome to Deep End Live. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Mason. I am your host for the entire week and we are up here in Glasgow for the British Swimming Championships 2019. Today is day 4 and I tell you what, it has been an incredible week so far. As you can see up here on our Best of British wall, we've had lots of new British champions. Some of our athletes have made that qualification time for the World Championships later on in the summer. And of course, there's been a whole lot of fun as well. We've had our speedboat challenge, more of that to come. But before we get to any of that, I've got to introduce you to not only our studio, but our pundits, our resident swimming experts, Rebecca Adlington and James Goddard. Welcome back to Deep End Live.
Yeah, so excited to be here. Day 4 finals, over halfway through the week. So excited. There's amazing racing going on all week. British records all over the place. Can't wait for the rest of the week.
Yeah, of course, tonight's set to be absolutely no different. But before we get to that, let's have a quick review of last night. Max Litchfield, what a performance in that 400 metres IM.
Yeah, Max. I'm so chuffed for Max because he was injured a year and a half ago, missed the Commonwealth Games, so he must have been devastated, to go through all that situation. So to bounce back, get that first place qualification time and guarantee his place at the World Championships in South Korea. So pleased for him.
Yeah, it was such an incredible performance. And like when he was in the studio, we had a chat to him and we sort of said, obviously missing out on the Commonwealth Games was the right move for him, looking forward to the Worlds and obviously Olympics next year. Another incredible performance. Becky, my swim of the night, Dan Jervis, we kicked off the night with that one. It was amazing.
It was unbelievable. Obviously, just missing out on that British record, but a big swim for him. And for me, it's been the first time I've seen every single coach and athlete cheer a swimmer on like that. Normally, it's just your home club, but everybody got behind him. It gave me goosebumps. It was just, the atmosphere in here was incredible.
It really was. And we were all talking about it. And we've seen a lot of sport, a lot of international events all over the world. And that is genuinely one of my favorite moments in sport I've ever witnessed. And to do it here in front of a home crowd, like, incredible. Finally, another awesome performance. Duncan Scott swam super fast.
Yeah, superb. British record, our first one of the week. It was amazing. Like, for me, it just looked so easy down the first 50. When he hit that turn, it's like he bounced off a trampoline and he just flew down that back 50. Superb swim, British record, what can we say?
Yeah, Duncan's skills are just unbelievable. His underwater as well is absolutely amazing. And I love the coming into the wall the last 5 meters, he does this windmill stroke to almost propel himself. And it was just a brilliant swim. And he just is so lovely as well when he was speaking to you guys. He was so happy for his teammate who had broke 50 for the first time as well. He's just such a nice guy, Duncan.
Yeah, I loved watching that race. And more of that tonight. I know he's back in the pool as well, so interesting to see what he does there. But of course, it's not just the British Swimming Championships that are happening here in Glasgow. It is the sort of hub, I suppose, of sport at the moment in the UK, which is awesome. And coming here, back to Tollcross in December, is the LEN European Short Course Championship. So let's take a look at what you've got to look forward to. Tell you what, they got me running around tonight, getting all hot and bothered, but I've come up into the crowd to meet some of our fans, because of course, we couldn't have sporting events without the likes of some of these fans. So let's meet some of them. What's your names?
Alan.
Jennifer. Lindsay.
Lindsay, I love this top, bringing a bit of sunshine into Tollcross. So you guys big fans of swimming?
Yes, and we've got our children down here from Oban as well, from the Oban Otters.
Really? And who are you in supporting tonight, cheering on in what race?
Ross Murdoch, of course.
Murdoch, of course. It's going to be an incredible one tonight. We'll chat more on that in a bit. But, of course, you know, you've got to... well, basically, I'm going to get you to help me, Lindsay. We're having our own competition is what I'm trying to say. So, as you came into venue, you get yourself a duck, if you bought one. In this is the ducks with all the numbers on them. We've got a prize to give to someone in the audience. So I need your help, all right, because you're looking very, very summery and very smiley. Let's pull a duck out. What number is it? 49. So who's got number 49? Stand up and give us a wave. Oh my God, it's at the other end of the... Give me these, give me these, give me these. Let's go. This happened last night as well. I tell you what, they just like making me sweat. Let's run, ladies and gentlemen. 30 seconds left. And we're moving, we're moving. Every single night. Oh. Hi, darling, I'm coming. I've got presents for you. All right, let's meet you. What's your name, darling?
Bria.
Bria, congratulations. You won yourself a tier bag worth 50 quid. Love that. And a Great Britain kickboard, right? Yes, there you go. Let's give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We love that. Congratulations. Now, Adam Peaty had a cracking start to his week. He's finished now, but he was so busy with his schedule, we couldn't get him in the studio, so James Goddard caught up with him earlier. So let's take a look at what he's got to say.
Okay, yeah, good afternoon, everybody. We are here with the amazing Adam Peaty, world champion, Olympic champion. You've won everything. Is there anything that you've not won?
Yeah, Commonwealth Games, 50-metre breaststrokes, haunted me to this day, but
yes.
I'll get it one day.
Yeah, you'll get it next time, I'm sure. We talked a little bit before about some of your inspiration is that the bigger the stage, the more people watching, the better you perform. I was just thinking about every day, because for me in training, I found that quite difficult. What inspires you every single day in training?
I pretty much have different motivations, depending on what kind of day it is, what kind of session it is. The day-to-day motivation, obviously, is to be the best breaststroker that's ever lived, to leave a legacy. That's my main goal. But day-to-day, it's not plausible to have that as a motivation every single day. So. On the big sets, that's when the emotion comes in, that's where the graph comes in, but on the smaller sets, it's obviously focus on the detail, focus on the little things. You don't have to be motivated every single day. That's what athletes and young athletes make a massive misconception is, that you have to be motivated all the time. As long as your consistency is above the rest, you're already winning, I guess. Yeah,
fantastic, yeah. I need to talk to you a little bit about your coach, Mel, because I trained with Mel for a couple of years for Beijing, and we had great banter, we had a great laugh. Every single day was really fun with Mel. She has a good chat. Can you imagine she's like that in training every single day?
Yeah, well, sometimes I think she's got a little bit more serious as the days have gone on. A few years ago, 10 years ago, she's a little bit different to what she is now, obviously. But yeah, she's obviously a great friend to me, great coach. So it's a very unique relationship between us. We can be very professional and very unprofessional, so we can switch it up, different kind of for different environments.
Mix, isn't it?
Different scenario, because we're in such a serious sport when it comes into Tokyo that you don't want to be going to someone that's going to make you more anxious and more stressed about swimming. It's sport. It's a sport at the end of the day. You want to be relaxed.
If you're serious all the time, it'd drive you mental, right? It'd drive you mad.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And Mel's just so... I always wondered, because when I swam with Mel, her breaststroke was so bad. It was like the way that I'd imagine my grandma swimming breaststroke, like chin on the surface. So for her to become one of the best coaches in the world as well, coach the best breaststroker of all time, is amazing. Targets for the future, obviously, Worlds and Olympics.
Yeah, obviously it stays the same. Keep winning. The target never changes. But for me, it's just about tunnel vision. How do I get better? How do I push myself to the limits? And how do I push myself to limits efficiently and get to those when I need to get to those. So
awesome.
This week has been a great week for me. Put some great place markers. Don't really, in the winter I didn't race at all. Training was a little bit here and there just to get that mental recovery, because I've been literally like 10 years on. So to have just a winter off where I can just relax a little bit, not worry about anything else, but then obviously hit home January till April.
This is it.
So yeah, it's looking good. I've only raced like once or twice. I think it's one proper race before this, so it's looking good. The back end, it's looking good again.
So now the trials are out of the way, a little bit of downtime now.
Yeah.
Week,
So I've
2
got,
weeks off.
Yeah, week and a half off normally, but I'll have this half a week off till Sunday, then I'll just be in the water, just keeping the feel, because you know World Championships are just around the corner now.
Yeah.
So obviously once the team's announced, it's going to be hopefully the usual pack, me and Jimmy and that, and Ben and Dunks. Obviously Luke as well, hopefully on the backstroke. But yeah, I mean it's looking very good for British women at the moment. I think if we can get a backstroker that goes 53 low, we're in touching distance, aren't we?
I know. Well, thanks very much for talking to us,
Cheers.
mate.
Thank you.
All the best. Good luck for the year.
Cheers. Thank you.
Adam Peaty.
The latest in tech suit innovation. Frictionless fiber construction. Surface lift technology. Endo compression cage. Seamless exo shell. Tier Benzo. Battleborn.
There you have it. Loads to look forward to tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at what we got coming up. We start with the women's 200-meter backstroke. We then move on to the men's 100-meter butterfly, the women's 100-meter freestyle, and the men's 200-meter breaststroke. Lots of action. Now, we've only got a couple of minutes, so let's race through it. Starting with the backstroke. Who should we be looking out for? What do we got to keep our eye out for in that event, guys?
Yeah, Jessica Fuller looked great through the heats this morning. I think it'll be a bit of a battle. And what's really exciting about this final is the amount of junior swimmers that are in it. So watch out for the outside lanes, as I think it's nice to get to know our stars of the future.
Certainly always good to see that. And we're seeing that in quite a few races that have been happening over the week. So tonight, no different. We then move on to the 100-meter free butterfly, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. James Guy is probably the one to look out for, isn't he? When we did the top trunks earlier, he gave himself on his technique 100 out of 100. So very modest fella. Nobody is very modest, but his technique is, I've got to say, superb. So I want everybody at home to watch his butterfly. It's beautiful. He glides across the surface. He's so big and powerful and strong, and it looks beautiful. So I think he's the one to watch. Yeah, I spoke to him earlier on in the week, and he said he was going to absolutely smash his 100. So I know he's very focused, very determined. We're going to see what he does up against Duncan Scott there. Moving back over to the women's side, women's 100-meter freestyle. Becky, eyes on the pool. Who should we look for?
Definitely watch out for Freya Anderson. I mean, we've seen her in the pool already this week. She was Crown British champion for the 200 metres. I would say this is more her favoured event. She looked really, really strong this morning. So I'm interested in seeing how low she can go, because this morning through the heat, she looked very comfortable.
And then we're finishing, of course, with the big one. It's my sort of race for the night. Yeah. I think the men's 200-meter breaststroke is going to be so close. Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's Commonwealth gold medalist versus the Commonwealth silver medalist in this pool. Can't wait. Two big, strong, powerful boys. James Wilby probably versus Ross Murdoch. James Wilby just got the edge on the 100, went 58, actually 58.6 on his 100. So with both, and Duncan went 59 low. So both in fantastic form. Maybe both their favourite events. So it'll be head-to-head. Can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait. So as you can hear it, heard it from the horse's mouth, loads to look forward to tonight. We caught up earlier with one of the athletes that's in the pool this evening. It's Freya Anderson. So let's take a look at what she had to say.
Okay, hi, I'm here with the wonderful Freya Anderson. Good morning, or good afternoon it is now. Your technique's like really long and rangy and dead relaxed. Like, do you work on that a lot in training?
Yeah, well, I've always been told I've had a 200 technique, but I've never been good at the 200. So maybe having the long technique will give me a bit of advantage in there. But yeah, in training we're always working on techniques. I think Alan's always drilling us on it and stuff.
Yeah, it's a coach's job, isn't it? I was going to ask you a little bit about Alan actually, because I've known Alan a long time. I was on the team with him for many years. What's it like having Alan as a coach?
Really good. He gets on with all the swimmers, and we all have plenty of banter on poolside and stuff. And me and him have a really good relationship. So it's just being coached by a friend, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, really relaxed.
Awesome. I noticed I've followed your career since you were kind of a junior, because you were smashing juniors as well, like European junior champion, and then you kind of transferred really quickly into the seniors, and then you're winning medals at major competitions now. Did you find that transition easy?
Yeah, well, I think it was 2 years ago I got onto the World Championships team, which like came as a surprise. So,
Yeah.
But I think it was good to have that experience like quite young, I think, and having Europeans last year, like it didn't seem as much pressure because I was used to it, I guess.
Yeah. And so 100 is your favourite event or 200? What would you say?
I think coming into this, I was more excited to see the 200. I'm not sure. I think because there's like less pressure from myself, like putting it on myself. But obviously, like the 100, I think will always be my favourite.
Is it?
I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of always been your main event growing up as a junior.
I think the 200, my 200 only just started getting good like last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just about seeing what I can do on that. Like, got no pressure.
Well, I'm super excited to watch the rest of your races this week.
Thank you.
Right, we're going to do something a little bit more fun now, right? So we've got these cards that we're getting all our senior swimmers to fill out. It's like Top Trumps, but we're calling it Top Trunks. Cool, right? So we've got these 6 categories. Need you to mark it out of 100 what you think your best attributes are. We've got starts, underwater, speed, strength, endurance, and technique. We'll go through them. Be honest, like whatever kind of number comes to your head first, and we'll go through it. And then hopefully at the rest of the week, we're going to get you guys to play against each other, which could be quite interesting. So we'll start with start. How do you think your start is out of 100?
I would say maybe about 50.
50? That's really low. Okay. 50. That's really, you've got a better start than 50, no?
No.
Maybe quite harsh on yourself, and maybe it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe?
I don't know.
Underwater work. How's your underwater? Turns underwater?
That's like a 30.
A 30?
Yeah.
Wow, you are super
kicks.
harsh on yourself. Okay, speed. Now, come on. That's got to be... You're like our speed queen.
70, maybe.
70?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I have that much speed. I'm not
okay,
a
70.
mega sprinter.
Strength. Me tall, strong, come on. Has Alan got you doing some weights?
Yeah, we'll go with 80 on that one then.
Okay, cool.
I feel like I can pull through the walkway.
Okay.
Strongly.
80, right. Endurance. Now, I've never seen you swim over a 200.
Yeah. I have dabbled in 800s.
Have you? Okay. Yeah.
I would say maybe 50.
50?
I'm
You
not
are
that
super
bad, but I'm
harsh
not
on
that
yourself.
good.
Okay, 50. Technique. I like your technique.
Oh, thank you. Maybe 90, 85
nice.
maybe.
No, come on, we'll go 90. Nice, okay.
Oh, thanks.
90, awesome. Okay, start 50, underwater 30, speed 70, strength 80, endurance 50, technique 90. Happy?
Yeah.
Okay, there we are. There's Freya Anderson. Thank you for talking to us, Freya. Thank you.
Well, there you are. Good luck to Freya and, of course, all the other athletes that will be in that pool this evening, swimming for the elusive title of British champion. Now, I'm back in the studio, a very busy studio. It's like peak hour at Deep End Live. Here you go. I'm being joined by not only Jimmy and Becky, but Dan Jervis and Hannah Miley, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, guys. Hannah, let's come to you. Ladies first. Busy week for you, as always. You've always got a busy week. How are you feeling after coming back from, all your op and everything?
It's actually been quite quiet compared to normal for me. Like racing just once a day is actually a bit of a luxury, but it's been great. It's been nice just trying something a little bit different and just seeing where I'm at. And things have been quite different with my training. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the race, the atmosphere, and how everyone's swimming. It's nice just being involved.
Because I know, you say it's quite quiet for you, but a quiet day for you is still a very busy schedule for everyone else. You're coming back from injury, still doing something like 11 sessions a week, right?
Yeah, it has been quite challenging. Sorry.
We want to hear you.
I've not got the loudest of voices. Yeah, I've kind of not been able to go back to the full training that I normally do, but I've enjoyed doing things that are a little bit different, trying to work on more of my land strength, and just having a bit of fun with it and kind of getting my love for the sport, and that's why I'm still back in swimming, just because I've found my love for it again, and it's good fun.
And absolutely, and Hannah, I guess Tokyo is definitely in your sights?
Yeah. It's definitely there. It's it's next year, but I kind of need to keep going month by month and keep working on my rehab and just see how I go with my racing and my swimming. So I'm not completely ruling it out, but I'm aware it's there.
Yeah. Hannah, you must love being back in this pool, and obviously we've got the Europeans later on in December. You must be so excited.
I am. Being back in this pool is it brings out so many memories. My career pretty much started here in Glasgow, so it's like coming home. So watching the racing, a short course for Glasgow to host the event is just something really special and spectacular. So I know they put on a great show, a great event. So yeah, people just need to come and buy tickets to come and see it.
There you go, you heard it from Hannah Miley herself, ambassador for the event. Get yourself tickets and get yourself here. Now, of course, Dan Jervis, someone who was racing here this week, you've had a cracking week, mate. I tell you what, we have been absolutely loving what you're doing in the pool. How are you feeling after it all? You must be on a high.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a good week. I mean, I haven't finished my week yet. I've got my 200 freestyle on Sunday, and that's not a main event for me, but you know, I'll be going in as focused as I was going into the 15 yesterday. I just want to have a bit of fun with it, like I've been doing all week, you know, and it's worked out pretty well at the moment, so I'm just going to have a bit of fun, see what I can do.
I just want to ask you about your 1,500 metre freestyle final, because obviously it was amazing. It's one of our favourite races of the week, if not our favourite, but don't tell anybody else. Me and Becky were talking a little bit about your technique, how nice you look in the water, how well you swim, and you know, with this nice, long, beautiful freestyle, how much do you work on your technique in training?
I mean, obviously as a distance swimmer, and Becky would know, as a distance swimmer, you got to work on technique all the time because you're swimming so far and your arms are just repping all the time. But yeah, I'm sorry, I've just gone blank.
Wait,
sorry, that was off-putting. That was really off-putting. I'm very sorry. It's because obviously John's like, you're the distance swimmer, you ask the questions. To be fair, I want to know, obviously going into that World Championships, you qualified, you got that time, you booked that spot, but distance swimming, it's a very lonely place, and you were miles ahead of the field. I think you lapped some people in your race. You were that far ahead. So how do you now train for the Worlds? Because obviously you won't be a length ahead at World Championships. So how do you find that transition going from so far ahead when you race in this country to then a world stage where everyone's together in a line?
I know. A lot of people have said to me like, oh, what are you going to change now that you've swum well here? What are you going to change for the World Championships? Well, the truth is, it's obviously worked now. Why would I change something now? Do you know what I mean? Like, knowing me, it would work in the totally opposite way. And I've got a great team back in Swansea, you know, and I'm not the only distance swimmer in Swansea. I have a lot of training partners back home. So, yeah, I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing, really. Yeah. Keep
doing that. It's working. Thanks. You're itching for the microphone. I can see your hands are like twitching.
He gets to have empty hands. That's all, you know. Well, just before we sort of head over to our own challenge, our speedboat challenge, which I know Dan's very nervous about. Hannah, one quick sort of question. Obviously, you're getting better and moving forward. Start of the season. How are you sort of planning on progressing as we sort of move through this one?
Well, I've only just actually been able to start kicking and actually using my ankle since like end of January, beginning of February. So for me, it's just trying to progress and move that on a little bit more in training, just add a couple of little bits and just increase the intensity. But just being a bit more smarter. I'm getting older as a swimmer, so I need to look after my body and look after my head a little bit as well. And just keep thinking outside the box and keeping it interesting. I'm always up for new challenges and trying different things. So yeah.
We love that. Well, look, I can't wait to see you and what you do over this summer as well, and certainly you as well, Dan. But I can't wait to see what both of you do in this speedboat challenge. You know how it's going to work, so come on, come with me. Let's give the mics back here. I don't trust you with those. Come on. So let's just stop. Let's take a look at our leaderboard and see what you got to beat, okay? So Craig McLean got 9.63, which is crazy fast. Ross, 11.3. James, 14.85. Becky and Jazz, DNFs. It was rigged. Come on over here, guys. Come on. It's your turn. So you get one boat each, all right? So the aim is you got to get from this end to that end, a swift 50, easy, with a speedboat. So ladies first, Hannah, I think ladies first, as always. How are you feeling? You got a strategy? What's your race strategy?
Back end it.
Back end of 50? Go for it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get behind Hannah. She's up first. On my count, we ready? Timing? Yes. 3, 2, 1. Come on, Hannah. Do it for Scotland. Do it. Oh, she's doing really well. Careful. Keep calm. Keep calm. She's there. She's almost there. Oh, my God. She's done it. Yes. How do you feel?
I finished it. It's great.
13.03. She's done it for the women. She's done it for Scotland. Give me 5. I'm so impressed at that. Dan, it's a hard act to follow, mate. What's your plan? What's your strategy?
I'm more nervous now than I was before the 15 last night. I'm not going to lie. After seeing that, how am I going to follow that up?
You'll be brilliant. All right, let's get it in. Timing, are we ready? Again, Glasgow, get behind him. 3, 2, 1, go. Come on, Dan, focus, focus, focus. No! No! Not even a start to 15.
I know. Well, I knew that was going to happen before I started. So.
Can we get it back quick? Do you reckon we could get it back? Come on. Yes, we can, because that was like not even a 50. Here we go. Come on, Mark. Come on, floor manager Mark, working harder than everyone else in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, in you go, quick. We got to be quick. 3, 2, 1, go. Come on, Dan, focus. Stay calm. That's it. Find your line, find your rhythm. Don't try. Yes, he's doing well, he's doing well. Stop! 9 seconds. Is that the winner? Is that top? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new leader. Beat Craig McLean. Come on over, let's get those times up on the board. My heart's going, my heart. That was so good. All right, we're going to get these scores up on the board, but for those at home watching live, of course, it's over to Bob. Becky's going to join me in the commentary. We're now going to get the action underway, so good luck to the athletes, and we'll see you in a bit.
So the session about to get underway on the day number 4 here in Glasgow. And we have a sumptuous lineup for you. Not too many events, but all of them are quality events. We've got some rather exceptional times, potentially over the next hour and 15 to hour and a half here in Glasgow. Welcome to Tollcross. If you have just joined us on the youtube.com/British Swimming channel, and indeed on the British Swimming website as well. Tell your friends. We've been very happy with the take-up this week, and in the mornings and in the evenings, and if people don't know where to find their swimming, it is right here, and that's where you'll see everything in terms of time. The women's 200 meters backstroke final up first, the men's 100 butterfly to follow, the 7:03 start time for the women's 100 freestyle, and 7:21 is when we'll have the 200 breaststroke. That will be Ross Murdoch up against James Wilby, maybe, or Craig Benton might have something to say about it, and the new emerging star of breaststroke swimming from Cardiff, Kyle Booth, will be looking to improve on his 2-second PB from this morning. Here are our officials for the session tonight. Our starters and our referees, who will be looking after the men's and the women's events. So in case you've not been with us over the first 3 nights, I hope you have. Just need to tell you that we have 3 finals in each event. It will be the junior backstroke final, the transitional 200 final, and then we'll have the open final, obviously with places at stake for the World Championships in Gwangju in July. And we already have 4 on there as of right, and a couple pending, but an all-male so far. Rebecca Adlington has now joined me back in the commentary box. 4-0 for the men.
Yeah,
what's going on?
We have got Amy Wilmot, we have got Molly Renshaw, we have got Alice Thomas, all in the consideration time. So the boys might have got the first time, but the girls are in there. We've still got the consideration times.
Well, we're looking for somebody to maybe nail that. Maybe not in the 200 backstroke. We'll see how that goes. But there are other big events, of course, still to come during the course of the evening, including that 100 freestyle. And with any luck and prevailing wind, we will see somebody get very close to that time in Freya Anderson.
Yeah, Freya looked fantastic this morning, didn't she? Really, really controlled, really, really smooth. We've seen her swim this week already, so we know that she's on good form. And I would say this is definitely her better event, would you not?
I think so, although having talked to her coach, Alan Bircher, early on, he thinks that she'll be ready for a very good 200 this time next year. He doesn't think she's ready yet, as we've seen, for the big one yet, but he thinks in 12 months' time, she will do an absolutely lightning 200.
Watch this space.
Yeah, so in a year's time, when she does it, you'll see. You told me that a year ago. Well, no, I didn't tell you that. Alan Birch told me to tell you, but that's how it works. It's like Chinese whispers down the line. We get it there eventually, don't we? So they come out onto pool deck, and as I haven't got my crib sheet with the times on, or most of dislodged it somewhere, I know you keep it to hand all the time. So when I say to you, what time is required for the juniors, Rebecca Adlington, you will tell me.
It's a 2:13.54, and we have got some juniors going in the transitional. And to be honest, the most exciting thing about the 200 backstroke this event is the fact that we have 3 juniors going in the open final. So it might be slightly off or slightly too much to ask for one of the seniors to make the World Championship team, but we've definitely got a really nice depth of juniors that we'll hopefully see over the next couple of years.
Which Tim Jones will be absolutely thrilled with. I know he's been pretty thrilled by looking at his Twitter feed this week about the names that are making it, the amount of names that are making it, the times they're doing this week. And we have put a lot of emphasis, haven't we, in commentary on the juniors who are coming through. Not for next year, of course, they probably won't be ready for that, but for 2024 in Paris. So lineup for the 200 backstroke for the juniors. Alice Shields of Milngavie and Bearsden. Imogen Mears of Bromley. Lauren Bradley Holt, 15 today, did her personal best in the heats this morning from Salford. Mid-Sussex with Sophie Shaw, who was just outside her PB this morning. Polly Painter, PB this morning for lane 5 in Millfield School. Chelmsford City's Abby Lowe. Swin Gwyned's Maddie Harris, and Plymouth Leander's Sophie Freeman. In terms of time, you know what, in this one, apart from Ellis Shields, has been a 2:16, and indeed Maddie Harris. Everybody else around the 2:18, 2:19 mark, but big blocks of time have been dropped in people's PBs this week, so don't take that as read. And Ellis Shields, maybe, again, this morning, not going quite as quick in the heats as she can do. She did 2:19 when the PB is 2:16.01, but she set the pace after 50 and is leading at the quarterway stage.
So far, all the girls look pretty smooth, don't they? All under control. I mean, there's about 4 of them that are in a line at the minute, so it's going to be quite hard to call, but Ellis has definitely picked up the pace going into this 100-metre mark.
Ellis Shields, Imogen Mears. Right in there, Imogen Mears just been touched out for second by Sophie Shaw at the halfway stage. Imogen Mears followed by Polly Painter and Sophie Freeman in 5th place, but this is a good example of front swimming from the Milngavie and Bearsden swimmer. Ellis Shields in 1 because she's been the leader at 50, the leader at 100, and looks like she'll be the leader at 150, though they are coming back to her now. And a very swim from Sophie Shaw, Mid-Sussex in lane 4. In fact, she's just taken the lead at that 50 turn. Second place is Polly Painter now, and third is Ellis Shields. Remember, we're looking at a 2:13.54 potentially here. Now, Ellis Shields' best time is a 2:16. So she's dropping back over the pace, but Sophie Shaw and Polly Painter are both battling it out in those centre 2 lanes, and this is going to go to Mid-Sussex's Sophie Shaw. Now, she did 2:18, didn't do a PB this morning. This will be well inside 2:18. 2:18.02 is a PB, not any longer it's not. 2:16.40 for our winner from Mid-Sussex. Excellent second half of the race there, where she put it all together and took over and was never headed. And actually, even Lauren Bradley Holt didn't get particularly close, but she finished in a 2:17.29. So let's have a look. Oh, hang on a second. Lauren's gone down to a 2:17.
She has. I spoke to her earlier, came over and introduced herself, and I asked her whether she had the birthday cake, Bob, and she hasn't yet. I can confirm. She has had a box of chocolates, but she said they're unopened.
That's
so I'm sure they'll get opened after that
I'll tell you what,
swim.
she started the day out of a 2:20. She's gone from 2:20 to 2:17.2. And she was saying to me this morning, I could do a 2:20. I went, you could do a 2:19. You could probably do a 2:18. She's gone still. This is a birthday to remember for her, isn't it? Going down from 2:20 to 2:17 in a day.
Yeah, great swim. And she paced it really well as well. I mean, she was just a bit behind at the 100-metre marks and totally came through that last 100 metres and just came back so strong. So great swim for her.
Wow. Mum will be absolutely thrilled because, well, I didn't have to give her a pep talk this afternoon. She goes twice as well when I don't give her the pep talk, so I won't be doing that again. She improves by 2 seconds when I don't give her a pep talk and 1 second when she does. So.
Don't talk to any swimmer, Bob.
I'm putting my coaching badges back in the drawer again after that. But good stuff from her. Excellent stuff from all 3 of them. Obviously not the junior time, but that's a massive improvement from the top 2. and we'll move on to the transitional 200 backstroke. It's very noisy there tonight, isn't it?
Someone's brought like a cowbell or something. It's a bit musical.
The music's loud, the cowbells are loud, and the man who was screaming behind us is very... Yeah,
It's Lauren's dad.
It's Lauren's dad. He's now apologising. No, don't apologise. No, we're okay. We're okay. He's leaning over the balcony apologising for shouting at us. No, we're fine.
He's not shouting at us. He's cheering his daughter
I know,
on.
but he knows that we can hear on our microphones what he's shouting, which is good. We need to correct something, by the way, because of the sheet we have, which says Caitlin Ebbage is 14, and we've been saying she's 14, but now we have date of birth, which is the 14th of June. We can tell you that she is 13, born in 2005. So thank you, Peter Withy and the Tunbridge team for telling us that. Personal best this morning of 2:17.59. Daisy Anderson of Thanet Swim. So 2 from Kent there. Tunbridge and Thanet 1 and 2. Millfield in 3 from Rachel Anderson. Ellie Turner of Carnegie. Personal best this morning of 2:15.79. Charlotte Evans of Loughborough University. Probably a bit annoyed she didn't make it through to the open final, but she's here in lane 5. 6 is Georgia Derwent, Newcastle swim team. And 7 is Sophie Maguire. We don't have a lane 8, but we have some pretty quick backstroke swimmers here, including Charlotte Evans. I think is trying to make up for the fact she didn't quite make it into the open final tonight.
Well, Rachel Anderson, who's in lane 3, actually has a personal best time. Her PB, even though she was off that this morning, is actually inside that World and European Junior time that they need of a 2:13.5. So we'll keep an eye on Rachel, because if she does swim, even on her personal best, she'll be getting that time.
Charlotte Evans, though, dominating this one, early stage. Now, she went 2:15 this morning. She's going to go a lot quicker than that. And she just maybe kept a little bit too much in the tank in the heats this morning. That's why she finds herself in the middle final tonight, but she's going to go for it because she knows she's capable of doing a quick time here, and she will turn quite a long way clear of everybody else. She's 2.5 seconds clear of Daisy Anderson, with Rachel Anderson in 3rd place, and that's the only 2 Andersons we have, followed by Ellie Turner in 4th place, but that lead is not being eaten into, is it? She's still got the same appreciable lead with 50 to go. But there's a battle going on between Daisy Anderson in 2 and Rachel Anderson in 3. And they are pretty much stroke for stroke. They're getting closer together as well. Getting one going right across the left of the lane rope. So they're almost having a conversation as they go down there. Turn from Charlotte Evans in a 1:30. She's going to go so much quicker tonight than she did this morning. There might be a bit of anger in that, I think, the fact that I kept too much in there.
Yeah, well, with the personal best time of a 2:10 and swimming a 2:15 this morning, it was one of those that she was kind of feeling it a little bit, but she's kind of not come back fighting tonight, which I like. It's kind of one of those that goes, you know what, I'm going to put it right and rectify what I did this morning, and she's certainly doing that.
And she'll win this by a considerable distance. The cheerleaders from Loughborough on the far side, and that will be a 2:12 for Charlotte Evans. 2:12.85 to give you the full details. Second will be Daisy Anderson at 2:14, and she's never been in a 2:14 before. 2:15 was her best before, so that's taken her into a new realm. And 3rd place going to Rachel Anderson with a 2:15.07. So well done to Thanet Swims, Daisy Anderson for 2nd place, and very good swim from Charlotte Evans of Loughborough University to get a 2:12.85. Senior time required for the Worlds is?
It's a very difficult one. It's a 2:06.82 and a consideration time of a 2:08.0.
Well, we're still waiting for the backup time from lane 1, which is why we can't give you a confirmed result on that transition 200 backstroke final. Little glitch in the system, unless there's going to be a DQ. I don't think there is. Charlotte Evans from Daisy Anderson and Rachel Anderson is the order. All we need now is confirmation that everything's clear, and everything is clear. So that result stands, and here is the confirmed result. Loughborough, Thanet, Millfield, and 2 personal bests in that mix as well. Not Charlotte Evans, but Daisy Anderson with a 2:14.83. Now to the 200 backstroke final, and I know this is always the point where we mentioned Gemma Spofford, because that record is stuck on the books, and it's going to be there, I think, for another year. I don't think it's going to go here. That 2:06.66 at its time was lightning fast. Obviously, that was a world record at the time as well.
Yeah, no, we've had a kind of a whole bunch of history in the history books, don't we, of backstrokers, and it's one of those at the minute that obviously for that Worlds qualification it is probably slightly out of the realm of these guys, probably out, well, a good 2 seconds outside of their PBs, so it's going to be a tough one. But the exciting thing is in lane 1, 7 and 8 are the junior swimmers, and there is still that time of a 2:13.5 that we're going to be looking for. And I think it's great that we've got 3 really young juniors that are making the open final, because these are the names that you need to watch. That yes, they might not be in the middle of the pool tonight, but they certainly are going to be in a few years.
As Amy Wilmot, it's not her best event. Her best event is the 400 IM, which she won earlier on in the week. Here's East Kilbride's Jennifer King, and Greg will be delighted with her progress at East Kilbride as she goes on to the block for lane 6. Catherine Greenslade for Edinburgh University will be in 3. In 5, Mark Rose's Chloe Golding of Manchester Aquatics, and Jessica Fuller-Love with a listed PB of 2:10.01. She's been around the 2:10s this week already, 2:11, sorry, this season already. 2:11.95 is what she did this morning. And on paper, well, Chloe Golding's done a 2:09 before now, so maybe we should be looking at lane 5 for the 20-year-old, because she's actually got the quickest time in the field. Season's best for the juniors this morning. That's your 1:08. A lot of swimming this week for Katie Shanahan of City of Glasgow. Obviously, this is her pool, so she knows it well.
She deserves a 2-week rest after this, though.
I think she does. But she'll have her eyes set on that 2:13.5 that she needs for the junior qualification. Honey Osrin, Plymouth Leander. Amy Wilmot, University of Stirling. Catherine Greenslade, Edinburgh University. Jessica Fuller-Love of Bath. Chloe Golding, City of Manchester Aquatics. Jennifer King, 6, East Kilbride. 7 is Pia Murray of Ellesmere College, and City of Glasgow's Katie Shanahan is in lane number 8. I mentioned the fastest in the field in terms of personal bests is Chloe Golding, who is in lane 5 from City of Manchester Aquatics. She got a 2:09. Nobody in this field has been into the 2:09s yet. And Catherine Greenslade's off to a really good start, but not as good as Jessica Fuller-Love in lane number 4. And Chloe Golding's trying to follow her into the wall. First 50 completed, 31.4 is the time. So that's just over a second between Fuller-Love and Greenslade. Then Golding, then Pia Murray. Early stages yet, but it's a very purposeful swim. A great deal of intent from Jessica Fuller-Love of Bath early on here. Looking to go down into the 2:09s, maybe the 2:08s for the first time.
Yeah, no, it'd be great to see that from Jess. I mean, she had a really strong 100 metres backstroke heat, so she looked really, really smooth. And then she tightened up slightly in that final. It was still a really solid swim, but probably she wanted to dip under that minute mark that she's been aiming for. So for this, I think she was kind of leaving nothing to chance. She had a great heat swim this morning, and again, she's looking really, really strong tonight. She's obviously got a target time set in her head that she wants to achieve, and she is going for it.
Well, she turns in a 62.6. So a personal best is most certainly on the cards. How much she can improve upon that, we'll have to wait and see. Full love from Chloe Golding, from Catherine Greenslade in lane number 3. Those are the only 3 that probably are in contention to win it with 50 to go right now. But they've got to catch Jessica Fuller-Love first, and not any real indication that's going to happen. She's over 2 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Chloe Golding in second place. Third place is Catherine Greenslade, and this has been a gutsy front-running swim from Jessica Fuller-Love, who went from the off. She led when she came up and then has led all the way through to the conclusion of this. It's going to be good. It's going to be very good by her standards. She's never been in this kind of realm before, and it's going to be around 2:09, 2:09.74. She's improved upon her personal best, brings it down just a bit. Not enough for international qualification, but nonetheless, that is a step in the right direction by a few tenths of a second, and she will be happy with the way that she swam that, because she never let anybody get a look in on that one. Chloe Golding in second place, and third went to Catherine Greenslade.
You could tell that just by looking at her there. She is so happy. She had that fist pump. She said, did a yes And so pleased with Jess. She's such a lovely girl. I mean, I met her when she was swimming back up in Manchester, and she's just so lovely.
Honey Osrin's done the time, I think.
Yeah, no, she has. The time was a 2:13.54, and Honey has just gone a 2:12.5. So she's absolutely smashed it by a whole second. Katie Shanahan just missed out. She was literally 0.1 off that time, but amazing for Honey. Great swim for her, and another second off her PB as well, because her PB was a 2:13.
Yeah, so Honey Osrin will be representing GB in the World Juniors, or European Juniors later on in the year, because she has achieved the qualifying time. Another for Tim Jones to add to his list. And we will get ready to hear from our new British champion in the 200 metres backstroke, 2:09.74. She has never been under 2:10 before, but that is exactly where she is now. Well, that's exactly where she is now, is in our studio, and she'll be speaking with James Goddard and with John.
Well, they are our first British champion of the night, personal best as well, Jessica Fuller. Jessica, the smile on your face when you touched that wall and saw the time.
I know it's not like the consideration time or anything like that. It's just I did it for myself. I've had like 2 years of disruption. I've had injuries, and like to do that time, it just means so much to myself. Like, I'm just so happy.
We're so happy for you as well. I know it means so much as a swimmer to get a personal best time, and you can hear it from the crowd. Great appreciation. Because we graft every single day in training, don't we? And, you know, when you go to competitions, you don't do that personal best time, and to see in your face and see in your, in your eyes how happy you are, it must mean so much.
Yeah, I mean, at this age, like, a PB doesn't come along very often, so when it does, it just means the absolute world.
Yeah, I've got to talk a little bit about your tactics, because you went out so quick.
Yeah.
Is that something that you talked about?
I just thought, I've got an opportunity, I need to take it on, and, the time is very tough, the times are really tough. So I thought, if I'm going to give myself a chance of getting anywhere near it, I need to just put myself on the line, and, I knew that last 50 was going to hurt, but I just thought, it's not forever, I've got to just get on with it.
Well, you know what? You did put it on the line. You got a personal best. It was amazing. And British champion, which is absolutely awesome. Yeah. Congratulations. We're so happy for you. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jessica Fuller Love. But don't go anywhere. Jess, got to get your photo, get you up on our Best to British wall.
Yeah, congrats. It just shows you overcoming adversity we hear time and time again in the pool. And there is Jessica Fuller Love making the most of her opportunity tonight with a 2:09.74, the winning time in the 200 backstroke final. To come, we have the junior 100 butterfly final, the transitional 100 butterfly final, and then the likes of James Guy, Scott McClay, who's been the big name for me, one of the big discoveries of the week from University of Stirling. He'll be alongside Lewis Fraser, Duncan Scott, and Jacob Peters as well. It's quite a star, and indeed Callum Jarvis, quite a star-studded lineup when we get to the men's 100 fly. But here comes the junior 100 fly, and the target time for the Worlds and Europeans is
a 53.59. And again, we have got juniors in the transitional final. It's not just this junior final that are all going for that. We have got juniors going in the next one. There's 4 in the next one that could do the time, so it's not out of consideration. And obviously there's always relays as well. This is one of those events that, with being the 100 individual stroke, that we need to make that relay team up for that 4x1 medley. So a lot of these guys will be making teams just based off the relay as well, if they can get their hand on the wall first.
There were this morning, just in this junior final alone, 6 personal bests out of 8 swimmers.
Good morning, that,
yep,
Bob.
Terrific. So Mark Ford was one from City of Glasgow. William Graham was another from Melton Mowbray. George Barber another from Royal Wolverhampton. Cole Hewitt of City of Sheffield. Then Alex White and Rhys Edwards, not PBs this morning, but season's bests. Isaac von Fintel and Aaron Fox of Derby and Bebington, respectively. With personal bests this morning. And we're off and running the 100 butterfly final, the men's junior version of it, and see who really wants to take this by the scruff of the neck at the moment. Alec White of Exeter City has got the early march on everybody else. It's a very, very strong, positive and aggressive, may I say, swim from Alec White over the first 50, and he will turn in 25.39. Cole Hewitt of Sheffield in second, George Barber in third, William Graham. Now, has he shot his bolt too early here? This is the question. Will Cole Hewitt start to overtake him? Possibly will George Barber overtake him? Well, he's holding on. Alec White, 56.17, personal best. He's going to go inside that if he keeps it going at this pace. Do you know what? Again, front running of the very highest order, because he is not going to get headed here, even in the last few meters. That is superb. 55.44, new personal best for Alec White of Exeter City. Second place to George Barber in a 55.81. And that, again, is seeing him do 2 PBs in a day and go down below 56. And third place going to Cole Hewitt of Sheffield with a 56.46, and is right on his personal best, just outside it by a few 100ths of a second. But terrific swim, and we're seeing quite a few gutsy front-running swims here, aren't we?
Yeah, it's always that balance, isn't it? That do you go out too hard and risk not being able to back it up, or do you trust yourself and you go, you know what, I've done the work, let's take it out there and know that I'll have enough left in the bag. And it's a really kind of fine line, that, but he paced that perfectly. He's got a really nice, strong butterfly, and again, one of those names to watch for the future.
So here comes the transitional final for the men's 100 butterfly, and as you mentioned, there are quite a few juniors in this one as well. We'll name them as they come out. Ben Hooper of Hillingdon in 1, Glasgow's Mark Elric, James Woodward of Hatfield, Ed Mildred, busy week and a very successful week, another PB for him this morning at 55.37. Thomas Bealey of Plymouth Leander in 5, Archie Goodburn. How many times have I mentioned Archie Goodburn this week from Warren de Baths? Many. He'll be in 6. John Milner of Leeds, and again talking about personal best, taking his down to 55.75. Sam Daly of Mount Kelly in lane 8. Again, there's an awful lot of possibilities here. Awful lot of swimmers fairly closely grouped in terms of time. So calling a winner on this until we actually see the race might be quite difficult, because they are separated by around about a second, to be honest, in terms of personal bests. So expect a blanket finish on this one. Transitional 100 meters butterfly final. Well, we saw a front runner go all the way from the start to the end. Maybe intending to do that is Ed Mildred of Northampton here. So that new time for him this morning, 55.37. But look at the outside smoker, Sam Daly at the top of your picture, Mount Kelly. He's had a very good first 35 as well with the green cap, and it might well be our outside smoker who gets to the wall first. It is 25.57. That was very tight. 4 100s, Ed Mildred behind, then Archie Goodburn only 6 100s behind, then Mark Eldrick only 4 100s behind. The top 4 are separated by absolutely no distance at all. Is the outside smoker going to be Ed Mildred? Is there somebody coming through? Maybe it's Ben Hooper of Hillingdon in lane number 1. 1 looking good, 4 looking good, 8 looking good. Sam Daly at the top of your picture. Is he going to take it all the way now to the wall? He is, I think. It's going to be an outside smoker in a 54.68 for our winner. And he has taken a second of his personal best there as Sam Daly. Ed Mildred, a 55 dead. Well, that's 2 PBs in a day for Ed Mildred. And third place going to Archie Goodburn, is it? Just, yeah, revolving it. Archie Goodburn getting the third place. So Sam Daly, 54.68. Right on that personal best from our winner. 55 dead. Ed Mildred is taking it right down. That's more than a third of a second taken off his PB. And third place to Archie Goodburn with a 55.16.
It's good that the 3 juniors, well, there was 4 juniors in there, but 3 of our juniors were 1, 2, 3.
Terrific performance by them. Seniors are ready to take over, and this is absolutely stacked, this 600 butterfly final. There are so many big names right the way through. Duncan Scott's there, James Guy's there, Scott McClay, the new sensation new finding. Obviously, he's been around in Stirling for a bit, but he's really showing his true colours this week in 5. Jacob Peters, who had a great breakthrough year, 2017 into 18. Callum Jarvis is in 7. A lot of names you'll be familiar with. A lot of names are either on Wales teams, England teams, or Scottish teams last year. The Commonwealth Games are in this.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think all eyes are going to be on Mr. James Guy, though, seeing as his personal best time is 2 seconds quicker than the rest of the field. But it'll be interesting to see whether then he can carry some of those boys even further to try and increase their personal best time. It is a tough qualification. It's a 51.55 for the consideration time, but a 51.24 for the first place. So obviously James this morning from a 52.8, it did look really smooth. He kind of eased off that kind of the last 25, sorry. So I think he'll be wanting to go low 51s, if not see him try and go 50 points.
Can I tell you how difficult this qualification time is for the Worlds? Nobody has done that time in the world this year. Nobody. The fastest time in the world is 51.34, and James Guy and the rest will be asked to do 51.24. So if he gets it, it will be the fastest time in 2019.
Also, you've got Mr. Caleb Dressel from the USA to add into that mix. And obviously some of the nations haven't raced or haven't tapered down. So it'll be interesting to see what James has got in the bag here. I mean, over that 200 metres butterfly, he did look really strong, but that last 10 metres hurt. So I reckon he's kind of got a bit more speed under his belt. And I think this might be something very special.
Well, there are some potentially big improvements to be made by the likes of Scott McClay, by Lewis Fraser, who did a personal best this morning for Swansea University. There is Scott McClay, who has been massively impressive. Turns 20 in June, coached by Stephen Tigg and Bradley Hay in Stirling. 52.99 was his time. So here's James Guy, who is, of course, the red-hot favourite because he's been down to a level that nobody else has been before. English record holder, British record holder at 50.67. James Guy looking for a notable double for the week here. Is this the moment when it all happens, or is there somebody who's going to prick his bubble? We should find out very shortly. Callum Jarvis goes, of course, in 7. He's got a decent time. And the outside smokers, well, Cameron Brooks-Clark made that final. Didn't go quite as quickly. In fact, he was slightly outside his personal best, but he made the final, and he'll be in amongst the big boys. Duncan Scott in 2. Lewis Fraser, James Guy, Scott McClay in lane order. Jacob Peters of pool. Callum Jarvis in 7. Matthew Donville. Not a long session tonight, but lots of quality finals. And here comes another. Got himself prepared and ready to go, as indeed the other 7 are, for the final of the 100 metres butterfly for men. Expect a really aggressive start from James Guy in lane number 4. Expect him to try and dominate this from the off if he possibly can. He's not really had the chance. Lewis Fraser had a brilliant start up there, but James Guy now well and truly into his stroke, as is Scott McClay in lane 5. Jacob Peters is going well. Cameron Brooks-Clark a little bit dropped off at the moment, but that may change when he comes off the wall. But James Guy will turn in a 23.81. It's rapid, and he'll bring this one back as quickly as he possibly can. Nobody now surely is going to catch the British record holder in lane number 4. He is going like the clappers. They're trying to get to him. I tell you what, Jacob Peters is trying to get to him. I don't think it's going to be your day, Jacob. It's going to be James Guy's day, and a good finish by Duncan Scott. James Guy, though, will be the winner, is the winner of the 100 metres butterfly time, 51.97, and it's not 1 or 2, though, in terms of the qualification time.
James had a huge glide in there. It's kind of one of those that he just did not spot that finish right. I think it was one of those, right, do I do another really short stroke or do I glide in? And I think that glide just kind of lost him that kind of 0.2, 0.3 of a second there. He doesn't look that pleased, but at the end of the day, he is going to qualify. Well, he's still got the events to do. He's still got the 200 freestyle and things, but he will probably qualify for that relay anyway for that spot. That's what you get when you do win the race. You do know that you will go for that 4x1 medley.
Duncan Scott has taken 7/10 of his best time. Jacob Peters has taken half a second of his best time in the 1, 2, 3. And Lewis Fraser, I think there must be another PB in there. all by 1/100th of a second. It's not. 53.03 this morning, 53.04 tonight. But big new improvements for Duncan Scott and Jacob Peters in their time. James Guy, though, breaking 52, but not getting 51.2 or 51.55, the first and secondary consideration time. Let's see what James has got to say with the boys in the studio.
There you go, James Guy, title number 2 for the week. 100, looked nice and comfortable out there. You've got to be happy with it.
Yeah, it's nice to kind of get the win here. Time was just okay. Hoping to go a bit faster than that, but yeah, it's nice to get the win.
I could say, I was just having a little chat with John. You've got, I mean, every swimmer's kind of got their routine. You do this little thing with your toes before you start. How important are your toes in swimming?
Well, I kind of get cramped quite a lot, so it's a kind of fear of mine. So ever since a few years ago, I just started doing it, and now it's my kind of routine for everyday racing. Yeah.
And we were sort of saying, obviously, you and Duncan Scott getting silver. You guys are both known for your freestyle, but you're both so strong out there in the butterfly. Why is this, you know, it seems to be just such a fun event for you guys. You're just so relaxed. Why is that?
I'm not actually too sure, to be honest with you. I used to do fly quite a bit when I was younger, and kind of the freestyle took over a little bit, but it's come back these last few years, and I love racing it, and it's good for the guys on the relay team.
Yeah, and you always like to lead from the front, don't you? You like to get out fast, you like to get out strong, you like to do that in your freestyle as well. Is that, why? Why'd you like that?
I think I've always believed if you want to go fast, you've got to be out fast and push yourself. If you're out too slow, it's very hard to pick it up really, really quickly. So if you have that momentum going out in the first 50, you can kind of carry it forward. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do for the rest of the week as well. It's brilliant to have you back in the Deep End Live studio. I've got to get your photo again, because once again, another Best of British, another race for you. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your British champion, James Guy.
No, just trying to read the body language a little bit. So what he says and maybe how he said it is indicative. There was a big smile. There always is with James. He tries to smile his way through, but I don't think he'd have been terribly happy with that time.
No, we kind of, for James, he was just a little bit like, yeah, that was okay. He kind of didn't have much positivity, but at the same time with James, we know that, well, he said earlier on in the week that he has been doing more training for the freestyle than he has the butterfly, so maybe that was just the difference there, and he's still got what I would say is his best event to come, which is that 200 metres freestyle. I think it's for James, it's a case of it have just wanted him to officially book that spot on the world's team, but as we know, for the relays he'll be on there, and obviously with his main event still to come as well, so hopefully he will qualify for that world's team.
Well, we need a butterfly swimmer for the relay, so I think there's every likelihood he's going to be on there. But, well, there's plenty of time between now and July to improve upon that.
Indeed.
So he wasn't ecstatic, and he has got a chance to, if it's not working, rectify things when it gets to 200 free.
Hey, at least he could stand up by himself.
Oh, yeah, I know.
The other night he couldn't.
I said to me, like some old man getting out of the chair, like me getting out of the chair after about 4 pints there the other night. 200 backstroke then, the 3-2-1 for you is Catherine Greenslade of Edinburgh University with a 2:12.27. Chloe Golding for City of Manchester Aquatics, 2:10.53. We're talking about people who are taking it from the off and trying not to be headed. And Jessica Fullerlove, as we've heard, has some travails. Hasn't ever been before today, sub 2:10. Well, she has been now, it is at 2:09.74. Representing Bath National Centre, there's Jessica Fullerlove, and the smile returns to the face because, yep, she knows all that hard work and all the anguish and all the problems, and, you know, every swimmer has them. You had them. I can't imagine there's a swimmer of top class that's not had a problem at some point, whether it's, you know, illness or injury or loss of form or whatever, and you think, right, am I ever going to get back to where I was before?
Yeah, what was nice about Jess there is, I mean, every swimmer is happy when they win and post a personal best time, but you could just see how much it meant to her there. It's kind of like almost that relief. It was joy, but it was also relief that, oh, it's finally worked, it's finally happened, and it was kind of nice to see her just kind of let that go, that she kind of knows right now I'm on the right track. I can kind of start to gain some confidence back, and what a fantastic performance for her that she'll just hopefully kind of continue to build on.
So we're on to the junior final of the 100 metres freestyle. And 55.99, yes, the junior qualification time in this one. couple of swimmers did PBs this morning. That was Evelyn Davis of Bromley and Sophie Freeman of Plymouth Leander. Both went inside their best times today. Katie Goodburn of Warren DeBards in 1. Georgina Dennis of Mount Kelly in 2. Macy Lawrence, there's the lineup in full for you, with Evelyn Davis being the fastest from this morning with a 57.55 and new PB. So Davis in 4, Sophie Yendall of the City of Derby goes in 5, Megan Allison 6. For Newport, Royal Wolverhampton, Alicia Dingle 7, and Plymouth Leander. And Roberta Pavone's charge.
And she's already been in tonight. We've seen her just hop out the 200 backstroke final and into this one.
That's right. Well, Roberta's working her hard. There she goes in the 100 freestyle final. Everybody around the 57, 58 mark. In fact, most of them 57s. Only one is 58, and that is Sophie Freeman, who did the personal best this morning. So this could be quite tight, or Sophie Yendall could go and take this race by the scruff of the neck early on here from the City of Derby and try and dominate it as she is trying to do here. Georgina Dennis of Mount Kelly in lane 2, and at the top of your picture, Alicia Dingle's had a good first 50 as well, but it is Sophie Yendall from Macy Lawrence, and then Megan Allison. The gap is just about a 1/10 of a second between 1 and 2, and Sophie Yendall is trying to hold on to that stroke rate, but as she does so, Evelyn Davis coming alongside her, Macy Lawrence and Mount Kelly on this side of the pool in 3, and not to discount Megan Allison of City of Newport in lane number 6, but it will be 4, I think. Evelyn Davis has found what she needs to find at the back end of the race, and Evelyn Davis will take it in a 57.05. That is half a second better than she went this morning, and that was an improvement on what she'd done prior to that. So 2 big personal bests in a day for Bromley. Let's hear it for Bromley again. 57.05. Second place to Megan Allison at 57.33. And third place to our early leader, Sophie Yendall, 57.51. I will ask that question again. What are they doing in Bromley?
Well, all the top 5 there have done personal best times, so absolutely amazing for them guys to progress. I mean, for a lot of these names, we've spoke about these guys every single day. They have had a big program. They also raced that this morning, so to drop again and get another PB tonight, it's just, that is the progression that you want.
Bromley have actually only got 3 swimmers here, would you believe?
Well, there's another one in
Yeah,
the next transition
but they've only
final.
got 3. and it does seem like, you know, when you see that luggage go around the conveyor belt, it just seems like there's more there. But there's only 3 apparently Bromley swimmers here, and 2 of them are swimming out of their socks.
Yeah, and they've got beautiful technique as well, so it's obviously something they focus on. Tamarin will go in lane 4 this time. Again, fantastic swims. All week we've been saying how fantastic she is.
So Sophie Smith of St Thomas in 1, Emily Barclay of Loughborough University in 2, Jemima Hall, there's your full lineup, of Wickham District in 3, Tamarin Van Selm. I think I'm right in saying every single race, and she's been in lots of them this week, she has set a new personal best. 5, Kate Clifton of City of Sheffield, Stockport Metro's Elizabeth Harris, Emma Russell, Heart of Midlothian, and City of Cardiff, Harriet Jones in lane number 8. I'm mightily impressed, as I think we all have been, with the 15-year-old from Bromley, Tamarin Van Selm, 56.84. It's quickest of the juniors who are in this transition final. Now, what's she aiming at for that target time? Just to remind you, if she could get it 55.99. Well, I wouldn't put it past. You've got to find a second, which is a lot, considering she did a PB this morning, but you never know. And she's, at the moment, not got the best of the starts. Not a bad start, but Emily Barclay's had an absolute flyer in lane number 2 for Loughborough University, and she's going to be leading at the 50 by maybe a body length. Getting on for 1 anyway. Emily Barclay from Kate Clifton of Sheffield. Then comes Sophie Smith. At the moment, Tamarin is back in 6th, but probably not for very long. Wait for her to make her move in lane number 4, and here she comes. Here she comes in lane number 4, making her way through. Kate Clifton, the City of Sheffield. Elizabeth Harris in 6. Emma Russell in 7. And consider that Tamarin was right at the back of the field, not very close to it. She's going to go on and win this in lane number 4. How has she managed to do that? How has she managed to do that?
Wow.
55.66. A wow is most certainly what we need for that, because that is a World Juniors qualification time for the quite superb, and I use that term not even loosely, but emphatically with underlining it, 55.66. We need to hear lots from this young lady before the end of the week.
I think she surprised herself. She keeps looking back at the scoreboard, and to be fair, it is a long way away, but she keeps looking back going, is that real?
I say, could she do a second PB when she's already done a PB today? And I did say, fortunately, I covered myself. It's within her compass. She's quite capable of doing that, it seems.
Yeah, she swam that absolutely perfectly and just progressed down that second 50 just beautifully. And for her, obviously, getting that World and European Juniors time is fantastic. She's definitely one of those stars. We've been saying we need one, especially with the women's team. You said earlier on, Bob, that we haven't got that many women, and there is one of your stars of the future.
Oh, I'm so impressed with the way she swam that, because considering where she was at the turn, I'm thinking she's given herself an awful lot of work to do to get back to the front here.
She heard you, Bob, and she said, no way.
Goodness me. There have been so many swims this week that you just sit there and go, wow, that's actually breathtaking, because you're not expecting it. You're thinking, right, she knocks another half a second off her PB. That would be great, because, you know, it's a steady transition and progression from what she was at before. But now, you know, that's just almost like a second knocked off with no care in the world. You know, she looks back and goes, oh, well, that felt quite good. Oh, it was good. It was better than I thought. That kind of look of surprise when you see what the scoreboard says, in a good way in this case. Terrific. Wow. Yeah, I am actually blown away by that. Really am.
Rightly so, Bob.
55.66 from Tamrin. And we'll move on to the seniors, who've got a little bit to find, a lot to find actually when it comes to this one.
Yeah, the qualifying times are you're not hanging about here. The first qualifying time is a 52.72 and a consideration time of a 53.95. So Freya has been under that consideration time. Freya's personal best is a 53.61. So she's the only one that's kind of near it. So it'll be interesting. If she can get close to her PB, she'll make that consideration time.
And I know we shouldn't be doing compare and contrast, but only one person has done the qualification time that's required of the Brits here. That's Kate Campbell this year. So if Kate Campbell was here, she might qualify, but nobody else. And the Australians have had theirs and plenty of others. Only one swimmer has gone quicker in the world this year than the Brits are required to do.
And that's why the consideration times are there. That's exactly why they're in play, because they are difficult. They're all kind of making podiums at the World. So the consideration time is obviously a second and a bit slower to give these guys the opportunity to flourish in the summer but qualify right now.
Personal best 53.6, season's best, which she did this morning. Freya Anderson of 54.1. Catherine Greensley back again, another multiple eventer today in one for Edinburgh University. 2 is Emily Crane. Three, Lucy Hope of Edinburgh. 4 is Freya Anderson of Ellesmere College. 5, Anna Hopkin of Ealing. Rachel Louise Masson of Edinburgh University in 6. Tane Bruce of Edinburgh University in 7. And Amy Grant of Loughborough in lane number 8. Just the one in this field did a PB this morning. That was Tane Bruce of Edinburgh. As we mentioned, those qualifying times for the world's seniors, very tough. 52.72, the primary time. Secondary time, 53.95. Well, again, the races aren't on paper. This one on paper looks like it should be Freya Anderson against the clock. For those stages, Emily Crane of Loughborough.
Yeah, and Hopkin has definitely taken this race out here, being that kind of slightly more sprint elements to Freya. We know Freya has been doing a bit more 200, but I expect off this turn to Freya really come through now.
25.54 for Anna Hopkin at the turn. Freya Anderson in second place, Emily Crane in third. We're looking for Freya Anderson to show what she can do, and she is trying to do that. Anna Hopkin, though, is saying, well, do you know what? I'm no respecter of people's reputations. I want to try and beat you, Freya Anderson, if they can. And she's going for it. But Freya's going to get there just on the touch, I think. She does. Boy, oh boy, that was tight and tough. 53.79. So that is the secondary consideration time for the Ellesmere College swimmer, with Anna Hopkins giving everything she could to get there. And that is a 1 second PB, over a 1 second PB for Anna Hopkins. Emily Crane in third place. I'm sure there was a little bit of concern for Freya Anderson with about 15 to go that she wasn't going to win that race.
I know, I did think she wasn't going to do it, but what a swim. And Anna Hopkins just took it out there to take 0.7 off her PB. That's absolutely huge. So for Anna, she'll be over the moon with that. And for Freya to get that consideration time for Worlds, that is what she needed. Yes, we have the relays, but Freya wanted to kind of get there on that individual and book that consideration time, as even though we have seen her this week, she hasn't got the consideration time, and now she has.
Well, do you know what? The 4x1's looking a little bit more tasty now, isn't it, with those four? She's in place. She'll be ready to say some words of importance for us. Freya Anderson now with John and James.
Oh, and we're in. Wasn't ready for that. Freya Anderson, ladies and gentlemen, new British champion, and the consideration time for the World Championships. Get your breath, get your breath.
No, really happy with that swim, I think, and just can't wait to get back to my coach and see what I have to improve, and just it got under the consideration time, so fingers crossed. But
we saw Anna Hopkins go out so, I mean, she's the 50-metre British champion, so she's going to go out so quick. What's it like knowing that somebody's that far ahead and you've got to try and reel them back in, and you did it so well? How does, what goes through your head?
Well, I always know that I'm going to be out slow, so like for me, I kind of think, oh, sorry, I'm in out breath.
It's all right, you take your time.
I sort of enjoy the chase and trying to claw back, I guess, get filled with adrenaline. So.
And this is, I mean, we had you in the studio earlier on in the week. It's 200 and the 50 that you're racing as well. I know this is the one that you love most. Do you enjoy it? Are you out there, you're having a good time, even though you're head down, all cylinders firing?
Yeah, definitely. I think hopefully the way that I swim it's quite entertaining, I guess. Trying to claw back, and I think, I just can't wait to get back to see what I can improve on.
Well, I can't wait to see what you do this year. My heart was absolutely pounded down that final 15 metres. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another British title and a consideration time to the World Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Freya Anderson.
So Freya with the time, secondary time, consideration time for the Worlds in July in South Korea. And we'll now have the medal ceremony for the 100 butterfly with the likes of James Guy, Duncan Scott and Jacob Peters coming to the fore. Jacob Peters with a new half a second PB as well, 52.47, and Duncan was, what was it, 7/10 of a second PB? It was 52.9 before today, 52.2 now.
Yeah, Duncan's was really impressive. I mean, you do associate, to be fair, both James and Duncan with front crawl. I bet Jacob is a bit like, hold on, guys, stick to your own event. But it is fantastic that these boys get to push each other on. Duncan has got really good underwater, but Jacob was trying to kind of reel him in, but Duncan's just always got such a brilliant finish.
Do you know, with that beard, I barely recognised him. So, Jacob Peters, pool, 19 years of age. And that was more like it from Jacob today. I think a little bit disappointed with how things went earlier in the week, but right back on form here in terms of improving on times. Duncan Scott will get the silver. Not too often we'll see him on the silver podium this week. But there he is. And of course, he'll go head-to-head with James Guy in the 200 free as well.
You literally can't call it. I don't know who to put your money on because it is going to be such a good race.
Another one for Duncan. Big smile. And James Guy, 51.97. And I think maybe mixed feelings there that, yeah, he won the race and won it in a decent time, but not a time that's going to be considered top 2 for the Worlds later in the year. But of course, we need a relay butterfly swimmer, so that's one of the advantages of being a 100 butterfly swimmer that, with the relay, providing you're number 1, you're going to get on that team anyway. Not that there was ever really a question of him not getting on the team, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's one of those, obviously, with Duncan being the second place swimmer there, well, we need him on the freestyle, so there's no chance of them two swapping.
Absolutely not. So that's 2 who we'll see in South Korea, and hopefully Jacob Peters will get a lot of international opportunities as well before so long. He's still young and still has loads of chances to show what he can do. Now, it's funny how the programs work this week, because so often it is the last final of the night that is the most exciting of the lot. And I think that is the case tonight, is it not? The 200 breaststroke final?
I mean, it's just going to be a head-to-head showdown between James Wilby and Ross Murdoch. And I can't call it. I think, I slightly think James Wilby more than Ross, but it's just, I don't know.
See, I don't know. And it was curious. We talked about the way that James Wilby swam the 100 breaststroke the other day, and it wasn't particularly quick, but I suppose he knew that he would make that final quite comfortably. But it was odd. Until that point, I'd never seen James really give a kind of 80-90% swim. He's always been flat out, and he's done quick times, and we've all gone, oh, that's fantastic. And I was a little bit underwhelmed by his swim this morning, I've got to be honest, because I thought, oh, there's a 2-second differential. Now, he'll probably come out and absolutely smash it tonight, and I'll be made to eat my words. But I don't know, I kind of saw that swim this morning as being a little bit kind of...
Oh, no, I think there's a lot of mind games going on.
Oh, okay.
I really do, because he kind of did that in the 100 breaststroke heats, then stormed to the final, did the 50 breaststroke heat, but pulled out of the 50 breaststroke final, which didn't really need to because he had a day's rest anyway. And then this morning he was just playing around a little bit and cruising. So I don't know, I think there's a lot of mind games going on there and trying to kind of mess with kind of Ross's head.
Yeah, but you can overthink things sometimes, can't you? You can actually kind of almost wrap yourself so much in the mind games that you're not thinking about your swimming, you're just thinking about...
Yeah, but you've told me as well that his coach said he's going to go 2:06, so you've planted a seed in my head, Bob.
You just dropped me in it because I didn't actually say who told me he's going to go 2:06, but never mind.
Well, it was going to be his coach. Only him and his coach know what they've been doing, hasn't it? So,
no, I say he's not. No, just to clarify that before I get trouble from Dave over breakfast tomorrow morning, he says he has the ability to do that. Because I said 2:07, and he says the way he's been training, he could.
I reckon Ross has got the ability to go 2:06 as well. So
wouldn't that be amazing if we could see two of them do that? That's a little way off yet because we've got the junior final to think about first. Ethan McNeil, PB this morning for Team Bath, and Chris Alderson to Max Hagan of City of Glasgow. Hayley Baker looks after Aneurin Davis of Swansea. Amanda Booth with Billy Wotton at City of Oxford. George Smith of Ellesmere. Mark Foster, not that one, this one with a C, in 5. Greg Fairburn of Bells Hill with Scott Warnock, Amanda Bell, and City of Derby with Campbell Stephen, and Stephen Taylor of Ellesmere in lane number 8. Wow, look at this for an even start. 25, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all pretty much in a line. You try and sort those out. Luckily the clock will. 2 probably will get to the wall first, and does. Max Hagan in a 32 dead, 32-2 for Greg Fairburn, and Aneurin Davis in a 32.27. Actually, I've asked you what the qualification time is for the juniors here.
The qualifying time is a 2:15.0. We have got some, like we have all the time, we've got loads of juniors. We've got 5 juniors in the transitional final, and we've also got Kyle Booth in the open final as well, who had a huge PB this morning, so he's going in the open final. So we have still got some other juniors.
He did a couple of seconds PB, and I think he's 3rd fastest going into that final, so every possibility he might do it. The lead has changed hands.
They can do it in the heats for World
That's
and European
right.
Juniors.
Yeah.
So Kyle has made that team already for World and European
Absolutely.
Juniors.
Greg
So well
Fairburn
done him.
is leading this one. George Smith in 2nd place, and then comes Ethan McNeil of Team Bath. And I know a lot of the Team Bath lot are watching in tonight, hoping that they can see Ethan do something special. Well, he did something special with a PB this morning, but he's in a very stacked field here in terms of trying to win it. And George Smith in 5, again, somebody who's got a lot of potential, I've been told, for the future. It's only, for the moment, in fact, he's not even 15 yet. He's 14 at the moment, is George Smith. No, he's not 15 until July. Billy Wotton in 2nd place, Greg Fairburn in 3rd place. This is terrific for the future. Again, we're looking at 200 breaststrokers of the future here, and we're looking at the potential of possibly lane 4, Billy Wotton, George Smith in 5, Greg Fairburn in 6, all pretty much in a line. This is going to be a blanket finish for the junior 200 breaststroke final, and probably just George Smith of Ellesmere will get there first. 2:21 42. Excellent swim, excellent new personal best for our winner. Billy Wooten with a 2:21, and he's never been there before, so that's 2 PBs in a day for the City of Oxford swimmer. Greg Fairbairn of Bells Hill, 2:22. And, well, that was a remarkable 1, 2, 3, because in the end, they were separated by 8 100ths of a second. The top 4 separated by 1.4 seconds.
I'm glad they were all in the lane next to one another because they really pushed each other on there. Even though, yes, you are looking to the front in breaststroke, I'm pretty sure they'd have been aware of one another, and they really, really brought each other home there.
Well, George Smith, as I say, is only 14 years of age. And 15 in July, and that is a really quick time with 2 PBs in a day, exactly what his coaching team would have wanted at Ellesmere College. City of Oxford in 2nd and Bells Hill in 3rd. Transitional 200 breaststroke final next. It's really weird looking down, seeing Adam Peaty with a British record, 2:11.07 on our sheet of paper when he was 18. Because that was an event he did right up to Barcelona, the last World Champs in Barcelona, and then decided probably wasn't ever going to do it again after that.
Yeah, it's an age group record, isn't it?
So here's the lineup for you, which we'll put on screen, but I'll run through them for you anyway. William Mitchell of Millfield in 1. William Bell of City of Leicester in 2. James Bilbao with a new personal best this morning, as indeed William Mitchell did. 4, Nathan Hughes of Hatfield. 5, Conor Bryan of City of Oxford. William Ellington of Millfield. Andrew McIntosh, Edinburgh. And Cameron Muir of Glasgow. A lot of Scots in this one. Glasgow, Edinburgh represented in the outside lanes. Plenty of support from the bleachers behind us for the swimmers in the men's transitional 200 meters breaststroke final. Funky Trunks, lane 1, William Mitchell. So, 4 lengths of this tall cross pool in the 200 breaststroke. Lovely smooth start from lane number 4. Nathan Hughes really underway with Janko Gojkovic looking after him in that program. It's a really great start.
That was
Nathan
brilliant.
Hughes, wasn't it just?
If it was 1st to 15, wow, he would have definitely won that one.
Right.
Really long, smooth start there.
Got off to a brilliant start. Conor Bryan is trying to go with him from the City of Oxford in 5. They'll go to the wall together, but it'll just be the Hatfield swimmer who gets there by 4 100ths between 1 and 2. William Bell in 3rd place. James Bilbao, William Ellington, and you see the rest are not too far adrift yet. But if Nathan Hughes wins this, it'll be off the start, I reckon. But there's a little way to go yet, as he's being overhauled a little bit now by Conor Bryan of the City of Oxford. We'll see if anybody else wants to join the party at the front of this 200 breaststroke, but it is those two as it was at 50, so it will be at 100 with Conor Bryan of City of Oxford with a 2:17.79 as his personal best. It's a 2:20 this morning. We know he can go considerably quicker than that. Nathan Hughes is right with him.
It's interesting looking at their technique, isn't it? Because we see a lot of breaststrokers now trying to replicate the Adam Peaty, and I think Nathan kind of does replicate the Adam Peaty, and then you've kind of got Conor, the more kind of traditional breaststroke, how it used to be. So we've got totally different techniques here battling it out, and it does look like Conor's trying to shake him a little bit and moving ahead slightly, a little bit further.
Yeah, there's not ever really been a massive margin between them. It's only been about half a second at any time, really. And it's now improved to, well, just under a second between Conor Bryan and Nathan Hughes, with Andrew McIntosh in 3rd, William Bell in 4th now. Can Nathan Hughes find something at the end? It doesn't look like it to me. It looks like Conor Bryan has got this one nailed.
Nathan's hat, I've just looked at the pool, is all split, all the back, so he'll have had that to contend with. I don't know quite when that happened, maybe off that fast start.
Might be the intensity of that start,
so
yeah.
that would have thrown him, having him his hat rip off the back of his head.
Now, Conor Bryan with a 2:17.79 before today. He'll be in that kind of ballpark here. In fact, half a second better than that, with a 2:17.27. Nathan Hughes, who has been 2:16, 2:18 today, and third place going to Andrew McIntosh of Edinburgh University, who gets a 2:19.09, which is about almost 3/4 of a second better than he has ever been before. O'Brien managed to just open up the advantage at the end, but well spotted on the cap thing there. So I wonder if that split before he actually got in the water, or what the impact of him doing that 15 metres underwater.
Well, it was either ripped or it was the pattern on the hat, but it is kind of hard to tell. It was only at a glance, but it was either a pattern or a rip, I don't know. Funny pattern if it was.
Yeah, second place for Nathan and Andrew McIntosh in third. Okay, last event of the day. Wow, we've nearly done it in just over the hour here. We've got some medal ceremonies to go, of course, this race as well. It is a short session. I think we are going to finish on a major high.
Well, yeah, I think Kyle this morning, just to mention, because obviously I think all eyes will be on James and Ross, but for Kyle Booth, who's going in lane 3 from Cardiff, fantastic swim for him this morning of that 2:14.2, as that is a world and European junior qualification time, as the juniors can do it in the heats, unlike the seniors. So well done him. And the qualifying time for the worlds for the seniors is a 2:08.05. and a consideration time of a 2:09.35.
Second one is well within the compass of Ross Murdoch. Actually, Craig Benson maybe as well, and certainly James will be. The 2:08.05 means you really got to be on it. And is James will be going to be right on it? Is Ross Murdoch? Ross Murdoch, to me, I think I said this in commentary this morning, when we talked to him yesterday, kind of gave me the impression almost like a kid at Christmas. He couldn't wait for this event. He wanted it to come sooner than to have to wait for this morning and then this evening. That if anybody was like a wind-up toy ready to go and perform, it was him last night.
Yeah, both are such incredible athletes, and they've both got so much experience under their belt now. This pool obviously means a lot to Ross, and obviously came burst on the scene at this pool. So it's going to be interesting because they're not next to each other in lane as well. We have got Craig Benson smack bang in the middle of those boys, so they're not going to be next to each other. And Craig isn't going to want to shake them off either. Craig is going to want to try and go with them and challenge them boys and hopefully rival them.
Well, it's another breaststroke swimmer being looked after by Mel Marshall. That's Ed Baxter, who is in 7. And there's Kyle Booth. What a day. Oh, I can hear hey, the Kyle Booth cheerleaders. They're all in the pen next to us, actually, at the moment.
The chicken coop.
That reminds me of the old days of Tiswas. They put him all in a cage and they start throwing water at them with it all on. Craig Benson of University of Stirling goes in 5, and here is maybe the main man, the local man. Well, University of Stirling, of course, we know what he did in this pool at the 2014 Commonwealth Games when everybody was talking about Michael Jameson. Michael Jameson this, Michael Jameson that. He went, hello, I'm Ross Murdoch. I'll claim this if you don't mind.
I hope that we're not doing that to Ross, though, going Ross Murdoch, and someone else is going to sweep through and do it to him.
Yeah, that's, well, that's 5 years ago. Can you believe it?
Time flies, Bob.
5 years ago.
Oh, very funky trunks.
Oh, we're talking in the funky funky chunky trunks department. That wins it for me.
He's wanting to be seen.
So, well, I don't think you could miss him, even on a dark night with those trunks. Not you'd be walking around a dark night with those anyway. It might be a bit too cold. Gregory Butler of City of Derby in 1. Adam Chillingworth of Plymouth Leander in 2. Kyle Booth of City of Cardiff in 3. Ross Murdoch, University of Stirling in 4. Craig Benson, University of Stirling 5. James Wilby, Loughborough 6. Edward Baxter of Loughborough 7. Matthew Rogers, Birmingham University in lane 8.
I'm nervous.
Let the dog see the hair. Here they go. 200 meters breaststroke. You were flinching there as they started.
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Ross Murdoch's got a great start. Craig Benson's got a decent start. James Wilby's really going for it in 6. It may be the only 3 we really talk about during the course of this race potentially here. But Kyle Booth, we know, has already got the World Junior time. So well done to Kyle. Won't be in the mix for this one. James Wilby, Craig Benson, Ross Murdoch separated by just over a third of a second at the first 50. It feels like an Olympic final we're watching here, isn't it?
It is so nerve-wracking. But James looks really in control. I mean, they all do. They're all pretty much in a line. It's kind of who can break first, who can make their move.
Well,
Looks
here
like
is the
James,
move.
yeah,
There.
James is starting to go.
James Wilby is going, and he's saying to Ross Murdoch, you catch me if you can at 100. That is 61.32. 61.32.
That's 100 time.
It certainly is. So we are on for something maybe a bit special here.
Wow. James is really trying to shake them down. He's about half a body length ahead now. Ross is trying to kind of stick with him. He's trying to shake Craig.
Ross is right there. Don't rule out Ross Murdoch just yet, even though James Wilby's trying to break the back of the University of Stirling swimmer. He hasn't done it yet, and there's about 3/4 of a body length between them. Here comes the head-to-head we were expecting. James Wilby, Ross Murdoch, 50 meters to go. Wilby has the advantage of about half a second, but it's really not enough when you've got a racer like Ross Murdoch in there. Murdoch's coming back at James Wilby. Wilby's still just in front of Ross Murdoch. He might just have this. Murdoch, we know, finishes very strongly. Last 15 meters. James Wilby has it at the moment. Murdoch wants it. Murdoch's coming with every single stroke, but Wilby will get it in 2:07.49. That is the time required. The #1 time required for the World Championships in South Korea later in the year. And second place, Ross Murdoch does it too. 2:07.96. Nobody else in the world, no other country in the world can find two 200 breaststrokers who can go sub 2:08.
That was absolutely amazing. And for Ross as well, even though he did get that first qualification time, it isn't an automatic place for Ross, but he's so inside that consideration time that Ross will definitely be going as well. So congratulations to James. It obviously did him well to pull out that 50 meters final, and those mind games paid off.
There's that knowing smile. I knew what I was doing, or did the commentators actually even say there was any doubt about that? No, all I said was I was a little bit perplexed by he swam it the way he did this morning, but that is evidence that he knew exactly and precisely what he was doing.
Hey, he can't go 2:14.6 in the heats at World Championships like he did this morning. So, but fair play, he did the job that he had to do, which was about qualifying for the World Championships, which he has done.
Look at that. Take a snapshot of that, because there is no other country in the world that can do that. No other country, America, Australia, anybody in Europe, there is no other country that can do two sub 2:08 swimmers in the 200 breaststroke. It just doesn't happen.
Nope. Fantastic.
James Wilby, Ross Murdoch, fantastic stuff. Here he comes. Hopefully he's got a bit of breath left as he goes back into position. I think we should hear from both of them, and we're going to do just that because they're both, I'm sure, on their way to the World Championships in July. Let's hear from James Wilby and Ross Murdoch with John and James.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What a way to finish the night. We got a new British champion, James Wilby. Congratulations. James, you're on the plane to the World Championships. Ross, world-class swim as well, under the consideration time. Boys, how was that for you? James, let's start with you. How was that?
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I mean, it hurt on that back 50. And like, the guys in there, they're just, you know, they're really not people you want to, like, take your eye off, because, you know, Ross and Benson, you know, I just, like, focused on the wall and just, like, you know, went for it. And, yeah, really happy with the time.
Ross, we could see that James just turned at 150, and it looked like you were kind of just reeling him in a little bit. Can you see James across there, 2 lanes across?
I could see him a little bit, yeah. Sort of a bit of a blind spot when he's just in front of me, so I only really started to see him as I was coming into that wall, so I knew I was close. And I know that my back 50's been feeling pretty good recently, so yeah, just tried to keep the length and dig in.
And I know it looks good from here as well, Ross, so well done. But, I mean, the level of breaststroke, male breaststroke, we were discussing earlier, in Great Britain is so high right now. You can't take your eye off the ball. Is that just pushing you guys on to just be better and better and better?
Yeah, certainly. Like, I mean, I get on really well with the guys like Ross, and I've, you know, had some good laughs, and like we do, you know, actually train together, so it's really good fun. But when it comes to competition like this, it's just, you know, it's really good to see all of us do really well, and then, you know, when we move on to like an international meet, it's just, it's awesome to see, like, you know, GB always getting up in the top numbers, you know.
Yeah, the breaststroke's absolutely infallible at the minute. We've never had 2 people go under 2:08 at a trials before, and we've never had 2 people go under 59 before, and we've had that here. It's been absolutely outstanding from everybody.
I It's brilliant to watch as well. The atmosphere in here was absolutely electric, wasn't it?
It was amazing. I was just going to ask, because you seem so friendly outside of the pool, and inside the pool there's this fierce rivalry. Like, how does that work?
Well, as James said, we go on camps all the time. We've been on 2 altitude camps this year together, so, you know, you spend 6 weeks with people that you don't like, you're not going to get on very well, but we get on perfect. It's good fun, you know, training day in, day out, doing camps in Loughborough. They've been in Stirling for holding camp last year, so, you know, we're around each other so often that, you know, you get to know each other, get to be pals.
Look, it was absolutely brilliant to watch. Congratulations, James, on that plane to World Championships. Ross, fingers crossed for you, mate. You'll know next week, but that time, out of control. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Ross Murdoch and James Wilby, your new British champion.
If only we could bottle what our breaststrokers do. We could sell it worldwide and say, this is the elixir of breaststroke from Britain.
We're not selling it, we're keeping it for ourselves,
I know,
Bob.
but we can make loads of money out of it because...
No, forget that. We want the medals.
Well, there are some very good. I'm not writing the rest of the world off because there's Chubkov and there's plenty of other very good 200 breaststrokers around. But the point I was making is everybody has one. We have two.
Yeah, I really hope to see both of those boys on the podium at Worlds. It's just been fantastic to watch both of their careers just kind of unfold, and it's nice that they do train together, they do mix and match. I mean, with having Adam, obviously based in Loughborough, with where James goes along as well, so they're all interchanged and they all push each other on in training, and that must be so encouraging for them and just make them give that extra 1%. We're all looking for marginal gains, aren't they? All the athletes, they're always wanting to increase that 1%, and when you get to train with the world's best at your own holding camps, at your own training camps, that's exactly what these boys are able to then find, and focus probably a little bit too much on their own strengths and weaknesses, but they're able to then put right what they need to at the right time.
Something I can add into the mix for the 100 freestyle, that Freya Anderson, who we'll see shortly up in the medal ceremony, set a new Great Britain British age group record for the 18s with that 53.79. So that's another record that got off the book. Oh, Kerry-Ann Payne's here.
Yeah, she's brought her little baby Josephine as well, so I can't wait for a little cuddle.
I chat with David Carey earlier on, who was telling me that he knows of somebody who has been watching our stream as they were landing into Phoenix Airport. So we are travelling far and wide here, you and me, which is nice to know. Emily Crane of Loughborough, third place with a 55.2. And I've got to say, another thing that really impressed me, if you look at it now, our 4x1 is starting to take shape. It's been a real worry the last couple of years that we've not been maybe able to put together a women's 4x1, but all of a sudden, all the building blocks are coming into place a bit.
Yeah, but I don't think probably Freya expected Anna to be so close to her as she was. Obviously, she knows she's got the speeds because she's that 50-metre British champion, but I think Freya probably expected to shake her down that last 50 sooner than she did, and she left it right till the very end.
Well, that's good. I mean, a 53.7 and a 54 pretty much on the nose there. That's half of our 4x1 pretty much nailed on.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, with Freya, we saw her on the 200 freestyle just sneak it from Holly Hibbert at the end as well. So she's so used to kind of swimming that way, and that's her tactics. It just makes us have a heart attack when we're watching her.
So a new age group record for the 18s for Freya Anderson, and a new personal best, of course, 53.79. It's coming down, still a way shy of Fran Household's British record, but in time, that will come, I think.
Yeah, definitely, 100%, especially with the sprint events, because I think with age comes so much power, so much experience and tactics and knowledge on it all, and that kind of all develops with age, I think. So the sprinters tend to go on a little bit longer than the distance swimmers. So for Freya, she's got a long career ahead of her.
Well, we gave you the big build-up. Sometimes you give races big build-up and you think, oh, well, maybe I oversold that. I think I actually undersold, if anything, the men's 200 meters breaststroke, because that was an awesome race. I know it's an Americanism, if you like. The Americans use that all the time. It's awesome, but that was awesome.
You don't have to say it in that accent, Bob. You could just say awesome.
Well, that's what the thing with that word. It was spellbinding.
I think they'll be still out of breath as they walk to the podium now.
We saw them in the studio. Actually, Ross did very well to be as cohesive as he was, I think, in there. Poor old James was struggling. Here's Mr. Carey, the aforementioned David Carey, who was such a great 400 freestyler, 200 freestyler, World Games champion in 2006. And some people won a lot of money on that. It wasn't me, sadly. He was 40-1 with the Australian bookies to win the 400 free in Melbourne.
We don't gamble, Bob.
No, but some of us did in Melbourne because all the Aussies were favourites all the time. We went, okay, we'll clear up on that. And we did. Greg Benson, 2:10.13. It was lovely to be in that race from his point of view, but it was always going to be, once we got to the last 50, pretty much the sideshow within it, sadly.
He was hard. He was in a hard position, being smack bang in the middle of them both.
Ross Murdoch gave that everything, and he literally gave every nerve, every sinew, and there was a time in that last 50 I'm thinking he could catch him here. And I'm sure Wilby knew that as well, looking across thinking he's a bit too close for comfort here. In the end, it was less than half a second between the two of them.
Yeah, fantastic race from these boys. And the thing is, the scary thing is, they're going to go home now, work on loads of different things, and want to go even faster than that in the summer.
Well, that 2:06 is not out of range. I mean, he didn't quite get the 2:06 that maybe we thought he could do, but 2:07.49 is not a million miles away from it. And split to 29, and then it was a 32.3, and then a 33 nearly on that one before he finished it off in a 2:07.49. James Wilby, and he is the latest one to add his name officially to the World Championship list of swimmers we'll see, and Ross Murdoch will, as certain as we can be on that team as well. That was good. That was very, very, very appetizing. And there's still more to come, of course, over the final 2 days of competition here in Tollcross in Glasgow. We're going to get our breaths back. We haven't actually done anything in the pool, but we are absolutely cream crackers. So I'll tell you what we'll do at this stage. We will say thank you, goodbye from the commentary team, Rebecca Andington and me, Bob Ballard, all to John and James to wrap things up here from Tollcross. Good night.
Well, what a night we had down here at the British Swimming Championships 2019. Day 4, 4 events. It did not disappoint, did it, James?
Boy, so much drama all over the place. I didn't realise how much drama there was. Usually I'm in the water here, being sat on the side, I'm getting more nervous than being in the water, but just amazing. Jessica Fullerlove, I was so pleased for her. It's been like so long since she's done a personal best time, and she did it by 0.3 of a second. That's like this much. Yeah. That's what it means to these swimmers, this much. That's what it means. And she was getting really emotional, and it was so pleased for her.
A great way to start the night. Really warmed my heart as well. Then, of course, we moved on. We had James Guy taking another British title. We then moved on to Freya Anderson. Consideration time for the World Championships. That incredible 100-meter freestyle. Her and Anna Hopkin going neck and neck. And finishing it up, the breaststroke. I cannot.
2 men under, the first time, there's a good little stat from Ross Murdoch actually, the first time 2 men have been under 2:08 at the British Championships. And both of them actually got under that first place qualification time. That is ridiculously quick.
Super quick. It just goes to show obviously the depth we have of men's breaststroke here at British Swimming. Tomorrow night, it all happens again. So let's take a look at what we got on. We start off with the men's 800-meter freestyle. We then have the fastest heat. We then have the women's 50-meter backstroke, the men's 50-meter freestyle, the women's 400-meter freestyle, the men's 200-meter IM, and the women's 200-meter IM as well. So a busy schedule tomorrow night. Strap yourselves in. It's going to be a long, wild ride, but loads of fun. Best swimmers in the world. It's been brilliant. Thanks for joining us here at Deep End Live. My name's John Mason. This is James Goddard, and we'll see you in the morning.